Hi, my name is Esther Tanez with the Journey of the Entrepreneur, and here we are with Donna Miller again and Anna Masker, my two greatest friends, businesswomen, powerful women, and we're going to talk about some of the issues that small business owners go through, whether you're small, medium, or large, the things that you forget, the things that you have challenges with. Of course, my topic today will be insurance and how to make sure you're well protected. And Donna, tell me a little bit about you.
Hello, everyone. Donna Miller here from C3 Workplace. For the last 20 plus years, we've had the great good fortune of helping well over 2,000 companies to start and grow, and we do that by providing space, support, and education. We know how important it is for a business owner to focus on driving their business. So we provide those things that take you away from driving your business, whether it's administrative, whether it's social media, whether it's event planning, calendar management. Those are all the things that we do. And Anna Masker, tell us about yourself.
So my company is Profit Point Consulting. We've been in business for 10 years. We're a baby compared to Donna Miller's business. But we provide CFO, controller, and accounting support for small and mid-sized companies. So typically a client for us, they started at the kitchen table and the business grew, but the accounting and the finance is at the kitchen table. So we help business owners put the analysis and the understanding of the numbers and help them with their strategy, budgets, and forecasts, and help them really grow profitably.
Fantastic. As you all know, I've been in the insurance business for 32 years by my own insurance agency for 18. And of course, my favorite topic is to make sure that you're well protected. So I'm going to start a little bit of some of the things that people forget to insure. I mean, most of the time we're worried about, oh, do I have liability? And it's important because losses will happen eventually in our business, in our journey. But we also, the number one thing that I notice people forget is business interruption. When something happens to your brick and mortar or where you were running your business and now you can't be in business because the location needs to be remodeled, they forget to have all your financials in order. And then when they're making their claims, they don't get enough money reimbursed to them because they don't have their financials. And I think both Donna and my friend Anna are big finance girls, and they can tell you a little bit, what are the key things that you guys would recommend that they should have in order? I know what the insurance company wants. How do you can deliver that to the client? Anna.
Well, I mean, I think number one, the number one thing is to make sure you have somebody responsible doing your accounting. Sometimes, like I said, when the business is started at the kitchen table, maybe it's your mom or your wife or, you know, a brother who's doing the books. But at a certain point, you need to really make sure that that person is either educated to do the accounting correctly, but or if not, get somebody like Donna or myself to help do that. But the other thing is that one of the most important things is to actually look at the financial statements periodically, monthly at a minimum. A lot of our clients, you know, they started a business, they're really good salespeople, they're really good technicians, they're really good, they have a great product or service. Nobody that I've ever met has ever said, oh, I'm going to get into business to do debits and credit. So this is an important part of your business, but just because you don't know too much about it doesn't mean you need to ignore it. It's really an important part. So one of the big things I would say, one key takeaway from us is make sure you have somebody, number one, doing your books that are accurate, that know what they're doing, and number two, you sit down and you look at them monthly. And there's a bunch of reports that you can run. Most of our clients use QuickBooks, but it's just if you can sit down and look at them and start to understand, and whether you sit with your CPA and say, hey, show me how to make this work or understand these, or you have somebody like Donna or ourselves help you sit down and go through and say, what does this actually mean? So.
Very good. Hey Donna, I know that you do bookkeeping in your businesses as well, that back office support that you do. Some of the things that you've noticed when someone becomes a client, what are the main things that they don't have in order, or they have to give you in order for you to do the bookkeeping?
That's a great question. And, Anna and I share the firm belief that financial literacy is a cornerstone to your success. I do not believe you can scale a business or grow a business without knowing your numbers. numbers. And it's not just your profit and loss and your balance sheet and your debits and your credits, which are all really important, and they still make my eyes roll back in my head. But it's really, what is my most profitable service? Am I getting a return on investment for the marketing that I'm doing? So I really can't say enough about how important that is. But, when I think about, you talked about business interruption insurance, which I think is so important. And, business interruption insurance is not only what they buy from you, but it's how they operate their business.
Absolutely.
So Anna's going to have you put solid financial systems in place that have backup, and maybe they're remote or whatever it is. But the other thing I think a lot of companies fail to do early on, when it's actually easier to do, is to create written standard operating procedures.
Fantastic.
For all the things that you do. So the reality is, if you want to become an organization, you have to think like one. Even when it's, even when that organizational chart is full with me, you still have to behave like an organization. So if you're looking to grow and you're looking to ultimately delegate or outsource tasks, which you're going to have to do to grow a business, the thing that I always recommend people do is start creating those written procedures from the beginning. I have a lot of clients this time of year who will bring on interns. Interns can be great, but they're going to take a fair amount of your time as well. At a minimum, make sure that intern is documenting what they're doing, so that if next summer you have an intern to do the same thing, guess what? It's going to take a fraction of your time to onboard that person and manage them. So when you begin to grow your business, you're going to have to delegate, and a great foundation to delegating is having those written standard operating practices.
So important. So when there is a business interruption claim, most people don't understand those little facts. For example, you need to be able to provide what were your sales last year and what are your projection sales for this year. If your claim happened in April, the average claim takes about 9 months. When there's a fire, when there's flooding, when there's big damages. So you have to know what would be your losses for the next nine months. How many employees do you have? Was your interruption in your location, or was it because the guy that distributes to you had a claim in Michigan, and he's the only one that's giving you the merchandise, and now the merchandise is going to be much more expensive. So with that being said, Anna, you do a lot of projections. What are some of the things that you look at when you're doing people's financials? And this comes back to your insurance. How does it connect to it? Some of the reports that Anna and Donna probably prepare are crucial. So, Anna, tell me some of the things that people fail to do, or common errors that are made.
Yeah, it's so funny that you bring that up, Esther, that a lot of people don't understand the timeline it takes to file a claim and then actually get paid. So what we do a lot of projections around cash and cash forecasting, and I call cash your no exclusion insurance policy, right? So you can't deny a claim. The cash will allow you to bridge until you get that claim in. And so a lot of our forecasting is around, how much money am I going to have today? How much money am I going to have in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks? And even though it sounds a little complicated, it just really becomes down to putting a spreadsheet together that says, what do I think is going to come in? What do I think is going to come out? And if you want to talk about the best sleep medicine for an entrepreneur is having better idea and forecast on their cash. So a lot of times our clients, we'll be kind of running, well, I have cash this week, so I'm going to pay out as much as I can so my vendors stop screaming. But really what it boils down to is forecasting, okay, well, I have the cash today, but oh, by the way, I've got payroll in 2 weeks. So let me hang on to that. That in 2 weeks, you're not going, I hope I can make payroll. I hope I can make payroll. So you really want to have a forecast around cash. And that weaves into your work too, Esther, is you need to have some cash to buoy you until the insurance starts kicking in. So it's really important to have a two-pronged approach.
It's true, because most insurance policy have a 72 hours, and other people, to save money, they put extended time, meaning that they say, okay, I'm not going to make a claim till, longer than the 72 hours. But the reality is, well, how are you going to sustain yourself? Do you know that you still have to pay your rent and your phone, and you still have to pay some of those payrolls, because people expect to, they're going to leave. They're going to go find other jobs if you don't pay them. So all of that interruption, it's a lot of, even the operations manuals, how do you run your business? What systems do you use? What systems got damaged? What got lost? There's a lot of details, and I'm not going to go into a lot of topics of insurance, but we're going to stick to the business interruption because I find that is the number one common error. The other thing is that people will buy things at a discounted rate at a restaurant. So they bought the refrigerator, the stove, and all that stuff at a discounted rate, or it fell off the truck, whatever. And now there's a claim, but you can't fall off the truck again. You know what I mean? Like that luck doesn't happen more than once. So now you said to me that the insurance, your contents equipment was $5,000, but in reality you need $20,000. But you insured it for $5,000. You made a mistake. Now, Donna, tell me a little bit about some of the back of office support that you do that may be interrupted, and may impact the client, and some of the things that they need to know, that cost factor that is costing them in operations.
Well, it's funny because when you talk about business interruption insurance, I think of us as more of a solution than a factor in the business interruption. I think of several instances over the last several years where there were major natural disasters that happened, whether it was people not having power for months, well, not months, for a week after Hurricane Sandy. We were in Montclair and we had power. So we had many people working in our office, and that was something we were able to do for them. When I think about people losing power and not being able to get to their email or their phones, those are things that we do. So we, in an instant, can become the backup operation for these companies, whether it's we're answering their telephone, whether it's they're working in our office, whether they're using our team because they can't connect with their team.
Right.
So,
that's a cost right there. That's a cost right there. So the insurance company will have to reimburse this person for that cost. So when you're doing your bookkeeping and all of that, there's a cost to that client. So what would be, the average solutions that you're talking about, aside from doing their emails? What are the
I think it very much depends on the client. And in some cases, it won't impact the client very much. I see more and more virtual teams, which I think is very interesting, both from a work-life integration, because I don't really think work-life balance exists. I think it's about integrating.
That's true.
So I think virtual teams are a really strong business interruption model. After 9/11, we had someone rent an office from us, and they were a very well-known financial services firm, and that firm made a decision to work out of multiple locations, and they would never have a certain number of people at a certain level in the same location at the same time again.
Wow.
So sometimes about how do you spread your operation around, and now with these virtual tools, it's frankly so much easier to do it. So sometimes we're providing that virtual assistance to our clients. So it's impossible for me to say what someone should budget for that, because it could be, if it's someone that needs space, it could be $1,000 a month. If it's someone that needs space and a staff, it could be a couple thousand. If it's someone who just needs, a corner, it could be 100. So, different companies are going to need different things. Put out of your house, you might need different things depending upon what stage. Do you have children? Do you not have children? So it's the same thing. I think if you do have a full-on interruption, what you need is going to vary. But I think that, like anything in life, the more you can prepare and the better, Anna's about having financial literacy and knowing your cash flow. So if you could see your cash into the future, that's a strong tool. If you can look at your operations and have it set up in different ways going forward, you're really mitigating the risk.
That is true.
Risk in different ways. You mitigate risk by having a financial reserve. You mitigate risk by having good insurance, and you mitigate risk by having good operational procedures.
Yeah, and Donna's correct, because she has she would be the solution in case of a claim, right? So she has the space that you can work out of. Obviously, it's not for everyone if you're in a restaurant business or if you're in manufacturing, but for those that are in office services, she would be a solution to that. But that cost of that additional cost, that transition, that shift that happens when there is a claim, that has to be put in a report. And someone like Anna or Donna will be able to put it in your financial reports to make a claim. But in order to do that, you have to have all your ducks in a row. And one of the issues that we have is that small businesses don't have their QuickBooks in order, or they're categorizing correctly. How many times do you see that, Anna, of categories?
Yeah, I mean, that happens often, and it's the easy remedy is just being able to take a look at things and look at them. You know, one report we like to run every month is look at your P&L report, and you run that report for 12 months or 6 months, or so you can start seeing where things are maybe misclassified. You know, and I think what we're all saying is each component of what we all, insurance and back office and financial, back to Donna's point, is risk mitigation, but it's also peace of mind, right?
Yes.
So it is peace of mind that your operations will run because you've got a team behind you and you're building a business that goes beyond just yourself. And so having the right people in the right seats really helps you drive that, as well as making sure you're protected and covered, and then you have a scalable operation in the back end. Even if you're only one person, it's very possible to do. So
that's Donna's point.
You know what I see that surprises me about business owners is, and especially when it comes to the bookkeeping, is that some business owners hold on to it really tight, and it's not really what they know well, and you know, it actually causes them more stress to do it themselves than to actually delegate it to the right company. But sometimes I have clients come to me where they have not just delegated their books, they have on some level relinquished control. And
abdicated. Mm-hmm.
Right? And the reports that they should review are how they empower versus relinquishing control. So, you know, I think there's that balance of knowing how much and how, and to work with professionals like yourselves that will provide the guidance that really helps them to get from where they are to where they're trying to go, which is what we're all doing in helping our clients.
Fantastic. So we're going to give one more advice, each of us. We're closing. Today's basic information was to understand not only how to protect yourself, but keep stuff in order and have a backup plan, because business is risky. It's the way it is. Life is risky. There's always issues. There's always interruptions. There's always shift. That's why I'm in the insurance business, because I know that there's going to be an interruption. So my advice to you is to sit down with someone that understands your field, your specific field, and understands insurance really well, to make that plan be effective, so that the what ifs or the interruptions that will happen eventually, you're properly covered and you can get on your feet back and run with your business, or relocate quickly, or have a place temporary that you can start working, so that you're not out of business. We all know that once after 30 days you're out of business, this is going to take you 3 to 6 months to recuperate. And if you're out of business 3 months, you might not make it back. And if you're 6 months without any plan, without any financials, you're out. You're not going to make it back. I mean, that's the reality. So, Anna, tell me a little bit, one quick advice that you can offer, especially with your field, which you're a CFO.
Well, I would say the one big thing I would say is take a look at your financials. Don't abdicate the responsibility. I know it may not be your forte. Get some help, get some advice. Focus on cash, not necessarily sales and your bank balance, because a lot of business owners run their business on those two numbers alone, but there's a lot more good profit that you can get out of your business if you actually know how to use your financials. So I would say get some help. You don't get into business for the debits and credits, but they're really, really important.
Awesome. How about you, Donna?
So I would say seek to build a business that runs without you.
Absolutely.
How you do that is you have good systems, you create your standard operating practices, you figure out what is it that drives your business forward, and that's what you focus on, and you delegate the rest, and you find the competent professional people that can support you and help you to build that business that runs without you.
That is key. So, as you know, this is the journey of the entrepreneur. If you think this information was important to you and important to others, please hit like and share. Follow us on YouTube. Each of us, we're going to put our websites so you can get in touch with us if you have any specific question. It was wonderful to be with you. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Anna. You guys are amazing. And I thank you so much for being with us again. The journey of the entrepreneur. This is Esther. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks. Take care.